Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be giving you my Pisces March 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, well, as far as March goes, the Sun will be in Pisces from the 1st until the 20th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, this could be a very strong concentration of power, attention, and focus into just maybe being more compassionate as a person in general, idealism, being more altruistic and imaginative, but may also apply one or more of these qualities into the appearance, the outlook, and the overall personality. Now, at this time, Pisces might be experiencing a little bit more a higher energy level at this time, given that we're talking about the Sun and the first house. But the energy could be very Pisces-like, of course, very chaotic and confusing, and really it could be lacking a little bit of a direction considering it's Pisces, but it could be a good energy and vitality boost nonetheless. And it could also be, the first house is about new beginnings, so this could be about a time where Pisces use a lot of this idealistic energy and creative as well, and injecting that into perhaps new beginnings. And there could be a stronger focus perhaps on someone that maybe they knew from their early childhood as well. Anyway, next thing up is, as far as March goes, the Sun will be in Aries from the 20th until the 31st. So at this time, the second house will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Aries, well, there could be a strong concentration of power, focus, and attention into being assertive, courageous, aggression, being spontaneous, extemporaneous, into matters pertaining to one's finances, and really and to keep in mind, this energy could be rather combative and confrontational. So if it's some matter connected with your possessions, your resources, your money, you're apt to be a little bit more confrontational than usual regarding these matters, and really might become a little bit more incensed over this. But at the same time, this could be a very good period for putting a lot of this energy and vitality perhaps into aggressively and in an assertive manner pursuing matters of a financial nature. And Sun in Aries, of course, is very energetic. So this is a time to really be spontaneous in second house matters as well, and really defending your values as well, and doing things that you can to perhaps improve self-worth and self-esteem. So anyway, and also shining in monetary matters as well, because where the Sun is in the horoscope, this could be where one has the desire to shine, of course. So anyway, next thing up is the full moon will be in Virgo on March 1st. So the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, Pisces can become somewhat tired and full, so to speak, of a pedantic, judgmental, hypercritical, significant other. It could even be an open adversary or somebody they're having court or legal issues with, or even a business partner in some cases. Now, another way this could manifest is that perhaps excessive worrying over a court matter may come to a culmination or a conclusion at this time. It could be something that maybe Virgo-like that you did, that where you collaborated with someone else, may come to a conclusion. It could be connected with some health and fitness project or goal. It could be something that required strong analytics. It could be just doing something connected with compiling data with a partner, and something too that might be where you had to really do maybe something, even if it was just something with cleaning and organizing something that was very disheveled. A cleanup process that you did with somebody else in general might come to a culmination or conclusion at this time. So anyway, it could be also, anyway, the next thing up is the new moon will be in Pisces on March 17th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, this could be a period of maybe a new appearance that could be done with a lot of Pisces-like imagination, and really could even be mystical as well. And it could be a time too. I mean, you have this new moon energy, and new moon can be about something new, and then you're talking about the first house of new beginning, so that could further emphasize a really strong new beginning at this time, with a lot of, which might be involved with a lot of altruism, a lot of compassion, and a lot of idealistic energy and imagination. It could be something Pisces related, such as something connected with the metaphysical, which can include astrology, chemistry, poetry, dancing, oceanography, something water related, just something that could be Pisces related at this time. So anyway, and this could also be something in some cases where this could be something, maybe a rekindled relationship that maybe you had maybe from someone from early childhood. That could be a sun, moon, or ascendant in Pisces, or it could simply be somebody that may embody Pisces-like characteristics. So anyway, the next thing up is, well, the Mercury will be in Pisces as far as March goes, from the 1st until the 6th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, this could be a period perhaps of really where Pisces might be more loquacious and talkative than usual, and people can see this on a first impression perhaps. Another thing could be, too, as far as this goes, this could be where you might be talking a lot about Pisces-like subjects, such as the metaphysical, which can include astrology. It could be the paranormal. It could be matters connected with spirituality, just something that could be Pisces related at this time. But at the same time, with all this talking, you might be more apt to mental confusion. A lot of the things you're saying with all the talking could be, might come across more cryptic and ambiguous than usual. So anyway, and really talking a lot more about yourself and about your appearance, and in a very idealistic manner as well. And remember that Mercury is also about siblings. So if you have any siblings, they might figure more prominently in impacting your outlook, even your appearance at this time, and even matters connected with the physical body. So anyway, next thing up is, well, as far as March goes, Mercury will be in Aries from the 6th until the 31st. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces, and it'll be retro from the 23rd till the 31st as far as March goes. Now at this time, you might be more aggressive, assertive, and outspoken in your communications over monetary matters, over resources, letting people know where you stand as far as what is mine. Thing too is, I mean, this could be over matters connected with self-worth and self-esteem. You could be talking about a lot at this time, and you might have real original pioneering ideas connected maybe in how to improve self-worth and self-esteem. And the conversations might be dominated over monetary matters, and really it could be a lot of abrupt communications regarding this with others, and your mind may be strongly motivated toward generating income at this time, and be more mentally impatient if things of a financial matter don't pan out as soon as you want them to. And remember too, that's going to be, as far as March goes, it will be retro from the 23rd till the 31st. So at least, even though you're talking about Mercury and impetuous Aries, it's really, you'll have a little bit more review probably before saying certain things that you might be faced some repercussions for at this time during that period where it is retro. Anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Pisces as far as March goes, from the 1st until the 6th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, there could be more emphasis perhaps for Pisces on appearing more attractive at this time. You might come across as more attractive than usual. You might even have an ethereal type look and mystical as well at this time, but looking very attractive as well, and spending more money on oneself, but might be unrealistic amounts, and a lot of that could depend on when in terms of what aspects that Venus is making to natal points in your chart. If it's say if it's making an adverse aspect to Jupiter, well, it could be a really unrealistic, maybe prodigious, extravagant spending. But at the same time, if it goes, let's say it makes an adverse aspect to Saturn, your natal Saturn, then the opposite may happen, and it could be maybe too little on oneself. So anyway, and also too, if you're unattached at this time, Pisces, this could be a time where maybe you come into contact with somebody that could be a prospective romantic partner or significant other. That could be a sun, moon, or ascendant in Pisces, or simply somebody that embodies Pisces-like characteristics. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as March goes, Venus will be in Aries from the 6th until the 31st. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, this could be a lot of spontaneous, impulsive, impetuous spending at this time, maybe in matters to really to either improve one's income maybe, or it could even be on matters with self-esteem and self-worth at this time. And really, another thing too is that you're talking about Venus and Aries. This could be a love and enjoyment of things that are combative and competition. It may be somebody that you at the place where you generate money and make and generate your income. Maybe you like to maybe go places where, sporting venues or what have you, where you see something combative or something that involves sports competition, or maybe you even engage with it with these people, such as wrestling or boxing, for example. And at this time as well, that perhaps if you're unattached, Pisces, this might be a time where maybe you might meet that prospective romantic partner, significant other. It might be at the place where you generate money, or simply somebody that plays a strong role maybe in your income, or even matters with your resources and how you feel about yourself. It might be somebody that could be a sun, moon, or ascendant in Aries, or simply somebody that embodies Aries-like characteristics. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Mars will be in Sagittarius as far as March goes, from the 1st until the 17th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Pisces, well, there could be more philosophical differences, perhaps with the dominant parent, or it could be with authority figures and superiors. At the same time, there might be more exuberant and enthusiastic energy in one's career endeavors, and into improve maybe matters connected with notoriety, recognition, and even the public image at this time as well. Now, the situation with authority figures and even the dominant parent, which is often the father, may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual, and with a lot of that veritable truth coming out, those harsh arrows of Sagittarius truth, and the arguments might be over philosophy, religion, sports, and even matters with higher education as well at this time, and matters connected with maybe long distance traveling abroad. So, and also too, this could be a time for Pisces where maybe to release any anger or aggression. It might be good to do so through maybe some outdoors or some vigorous exercising. It could be done with the dominant parent, maybe somebody that figures prominently in your career, maybe even somebody that may be an authority figure that maybe you have a good rapport with, if you're friendly with the manager or something where you're at. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as March goes, Mars will be in Capricorn from the 17th until the 31st. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. at this time for Pisces, there could be a lot of disciplined, consistent, and serious energy injected into one's aspirations and goals, and also working within the parameters, so to speak, working within regulations. The situation, perhaps with friends and acquaintances, might be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual. At this time, you might have more arguments over responsibilities with these people as well. Keep in mind, you'll also be putting in a lot of energy, perhaps more than usual, into aspirations and goals. They might even be Capricorn related, such as something of a political nature or something with the government, perhaps even dentistry, something that could be Capricorn related with a lot, as I was stating before, with a lot of that consistent and disciplined energy. So anyway, next thing up is Jupiter will still be in Scorpio, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, as I've talked about before, Jupiter can be paradoxical. It's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. And that being said, it could expand surreptitious and nefarious activity with matters with in-laws and with grandchildren, even if applicable at this time. But at the same time, on the positive side, this could be where one experiences a lot of luck and fortune, perhaps doing something Scorpio-like, or taking a Scorpio-like college course, such as something with forensics or investigation, psychiatry, psychology at this time, or even maybe really advancing one's education, perhaps maybe through astrology, and so as another example. And keep in mind, too, that it's going to be, as far as March goes, it'll be retrograde from the 8th until the 31st. So there could be a little bit more review over making maybe a philosophy over making a major change or transformation in one's religion, or maybe even some kind of a higher education pursuit. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the 11th house is will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Pisces, there could be more restrictions and limitations and matters with friends and acquaintances, and it could be making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy at this time. In some cases, you could be taking care of a debilitated friend or acquaintance, and it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the bones or the knees. Also, too, a mentor or a father even, or some authority figure might figure more prominently than usual in your aspirations and goals, and even in your future as well. And it could also be a time too where you put more structure and discipline into your future, into your goals and aspirations at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Uranus will still be in Aries, so the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, for one thing, the financial picture for you at this time might be more sporadic and erratic than usual. It might be where, though, you might come up with some very extemporaneous and spontaneous original ideas as far as making money and generating income, that your values might be more unusual and unorthodox at this time than usual. You may make money perhaps through some Uranus-like fields such as electronics, computers, innovation, aerospace, astronomy, even as something connected with an esoteric subject like astrology. And that being said, another thing that's possible too, that you might want a lot more freedom and independence in terms of as far as making money at this time, and being able to maybe your value system might be a little bit more unusual and unorthodox than usual, your values. And maybe in two, looking in matters with self-esteem and self-worth, there might be a lot of fluctuation and ups and downs as far as that goes at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Neptune will still be in Pisces. So for Pisces, the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Pisces, well, especially if this is actually hitting the literal first house in a natal chart, there might be, as far as the issues with the physical body, you might feel like there might be some dissipation or dissolving, figuratively speaking, at this time. The energy and vitality might be somewhat dissipating, dissolving, and also if this is making, say, a conjunction to your natal sun, that could apply as well, as the sun could be connected with energy, but the ascendant or rising sign also plays a role, and as strongly as well as that goes. And also too, I mean, be careful, Pisces, at this time, because, I mean, you already, a sign, of course, very strongly susceptible to drugs and alcohol, but it could even be intensified when you're talking about this transit at this time. So, anyway, and also, too, maybe somebody at your, maybe new beginnings, and even someone you might have known from your early childhood might be more nebulous and unclear than usual at this time. Neptune-like things might figure more strongly, maybe in your outlook at this time, such as something with maybe it could be the metaphysical, which can include astrology or even spirituality at this time. It could be something Neptune-like might figure more prominently in terms of shaping your outlook at this time. So anyway. But at the same time, those objectives really might not be clearly defined, and you might be more drifting energy than usual at this time. So anyway, next thing up is Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 11th house as well will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time for Pisces, well, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. I mean, I generally going to do that if it's something Pluto related, because I believe it, death is connected with Pluto. So anyway, in some cases, this could signify the literal actual death of a friend or an acquaintance. Also, too, there could be a figurative death and also obliteration, destruction, perhaps, of one's goals and aspirations. But remember that Pluto energy could also be about rebirth and regeneration. So those goals and aspirations that may have been torn down by Pluto, you could actually perhaps supplant them with others. But also this could be a time too where there might be more power struggles, control issues with friends, with acquaintances at this time, and there might be an overly obsessive and really type outlook, and someone being very fixated on their goals and their aspirations at this time, and even their future as well at this time. So, and even in some cases too, I believe you might, in some isolated cases, this could be about a friend or an acquaintance that might be experiencing some obsessive or even compulsive type issues at this time as well. So anyway, next thing up is, okay, the North Node will still be in Leo, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Pisces, well, when the North Node is in transit, it can often be about issues we have to confront. And no exception here, this could be a time for Pisces where he or she may have to confront issues with an arrogant, domineering, overbearing, and bombastic, perhaps a fellow employee. It could be somebody in their daily routine or figures prominently in their health life. At the same time, this could also be about having to address or confront a health-related issue. That could be something Leo-like, which could be something with the heart or upper back, and especially if this is in conjunct one's actual ascendant. This could even intensify, because inconjuncts, of course, can be about health issues, and that could really, and I think there's a greater propensity if it's actually making the inconjunct aspect. Now, and it could also be about where you have this adjustment, because Leo energy is about using this strong, nearly inexorable, indefatigable energy. And of course, Pisces is a sign which really doesn't have much. So if this is actually making an inconjunct to the ascendant, there is, I mean, it's something where Pisces could succumb to some kind of overexertion for maybe pushing his or herself a little bit too much, because Pisces is not known, of course, to exactly have a surfeit or abundance of energy. So anyway, and also too, this could be about maybe having to be a little bit more extravagant in generous in sixth house matters. It could be fellow employees, people in your daily routine. It could be also having to spend a little bit more money than you like on health related issues. So anyway, and also maybe dealing with maybe more drama in one's daily routine, dramatic situations. So anyway, next thing up is the Black Moon will still be in Capricorn. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time for Pisces, well, Pisces may be dealing, it might be an unveiling or revelation, maybe of a friend or an acquaintance that might be demonstrating some very strong tyrannical, ruthless, overambitious qualities, very authoritative. And also maybe it could be a person too, that could be a friend or acquaintance, or somebody that figures strongly in one's goals and aspirations, that might be using maybe their strong sexuality to attain, to really to get ahead, so get ahead in life. And really another thing too, as well as this could be this could also be, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, an unveiling or revelation of a formidable adversary, and it could be somebody that could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies those characteristics. It could be somebody that may be that could actually be a friend or acquaintance, or I guess it would be a former one. Now, in some cases as well, this could also be about something that Pisces doesn't want out of the bag, but it comes out anyway, so to speak. Maybe a very dark and depressing maybe outlook on one's future, one that's very pessimistic and negative, kind of comes out at this time as well. Or maybe situations with friends that could be very gloomy and dark. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the first house will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces. So at this time, especially if this is actually hitting one's first house and one's actual chart, this could be a time in some cases for surgery, perhaps on something Pisces related, such as the toes and the feet. There could actually be, actual physical wounds at this time that Pisces is dealing with. Also, too, there might be more emotional suffering connected with confusion related to new beginnings, and even just maybe being more easily deceived than usual by people that are duplicitous and deceptive. It could be by those that they even knew from their early childhood. And also alcohol and or drugs could play a role in this as well, and maybe take a toll on the physical body. At this time, if this is actually hitting one's moon, this could be more about really stronger emotional suffering and impact the person more emotionally at this time, as opposed to the sun or the ascendant. But keep in mind, people, that during this time, to remember that Chiron is the wounded healer. So in ways that Pisces might be suffering at this time, going through emotional suffering or even physical, they could actually help someone else out dealing with comparable situations, and doing so with a lot of that Pisces-like empathy, compassion, and self-sacrifice. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Pisces March 2018 horoscope forecast. And stay tuned next time, where I am going to be talking about the natal chart of Nashville Mayor Megan Barry. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.